All right, here we go. So, I've got two lineups this week. One is with Zed Williams and one is without Zed Williams. Technically listed as not available, Zed Williams is coming off of a championship run with the Colorado Mammoth, winning in 2 of 3 games against the Buffalo Bandits, aka the entire Chaos roster. So we start off with Redwoods and Whipsnakes. They're playing on ESPN2. Zed Williams most likely going to be back. If he is, that's huge. 2 of the last 3 games, he has had a 9-point game, including 4 goals and 1 2-pointer, and a 5 goal game against the actually in back-to-back weeks against the Redwoods. I could imagine the Redwoods are going to try to kick their ass this upcoming week, trying to get to 500. On the other side, it's really been Jules Henningberg. Has a 4-point game and a 6-point game. And then face-off wise, TD versus Nards, I'm leaning towards going Nardella just because if he's going to win the majority of the face-offs, like TD hasn't had the greatest season so far. And if Nardella's going to, and he's been having a much better season, if Nardella's going to win, he's also going to bring along like 8 to 12 ground balls with him. Other than that, Miles Jones has been a fairly consistent guy in this. He kind of shot away in that week 9 matchup in the postseason. Um, Other than that, though, like goalies really don't feel like I can go with goalies all too much, even though Troutner with a 71% game and a 57% game. So we'll see what happens. We'll see who's playing. I think that this is going to be a last minute decision on my end, at least. But what was not a last minute decision was the over under. Over under is 22.5 last season, 27, 26, and 20. I'm hitting the fucking over on this. I've already put hypothetical money on it. So that's definitely my move. Looking at the other side, if we're not going with that, I went with the Jeff Teat. You could also go Will Manny. The only thing that pushes me away from going Will Manny, I guess we'll get into the Cannons Chrome, is, I'm sorry, the Atlas Archers, is that the Atlas goalie in Concannon does a really good job in that short game and that stuffing like in close. Kind of same thing with Tim Troutner. These younger goalies are a bit better at that like in tight saves, while they're not as good as like those step down shots. So that's why in both I have Thomas Schreiber, just because I know that in transition or just step downs or moving, he's going to be able to shoot from distance. I think that this game goes over as well. So looking at this, obviously, I like Trevor Baptiste in this Archers. I have no idea who's fucking playing face off for them. Maybe Ignacio, their third round pick. So we have the last few matchups. 18-6, 11-9, 11-10, 13-12, and 25-7. The only game that the Atlas won was week 5 and 19, going 13-12. Every other game, it's been all Archers. The guys who you usually think are going to scored well, Schreiber, Manny's, and then actually in the game 4 of 2020, we had Ament with a hat trick, first goal as a pro, and Costabile with a hat trick in his second game as a pro. So I would imagine if Ament is in, it's not a bad look. If Zed Williams is in, I'm going with him fucking day in and day out. Um, then looking at, we'll go back to the other side. So in this other lineup I have, the one without, the entire chaos roster of Nanticoke, Cloutier, Fields, McKay, Adler, Burns, Dane Smith, Frazier, who all lost against, and they're actually going up against Dylan Ward, who just beat all those guys, and the Water Dogs. This season, what I was going to get into, but it is what it is. They've gone over and under. They've only played twice. 12-24, Water Dogs, 10-9, Water Dogs. I think that the Chrome get their first ever win against the Water Dogs, especially if they get their guys back. If they don't get their guys back, I'm probably not betting on this game. Um, Courier has had a good game against these guys twice. He's had a hat trick against them, and he's also had 2 turnovers, 7 ground balls against them. So if it's done offensively, he's going to produce defensively. On the other side, we have Fracaro, who's been really the only guy who's ever shown up against this team, with 2 2-pointers and an assist with a 5-point game back in 21. Other than that, the Water Dogs have really dominated at X for the most part, but I don't know what this is going to be. I don't know if Adler's going to take the face-off X. I don't know if Tom Kelly's going to continue to take the face-off X. I don't know if it's going to be yeah, Tucci. I don't know if it's gonna be Tucci. I don't know if it's gonna be Jake Withers. So there's a lot of questions over there. I'm not really gonna bank in on any of that. Guys who I do kind of like, um, Gobrecht isn't a bad look. He had 3 cross-turnovers, 3 ground balls, and Ryan Brown had a hat trick against them week 2 of last year. Other than that, I'm really sticking away from this game. Um, my safe goaltender pick is Blaze Reardon. I have him in both my lineups. Same thing with Tom Schreiber. I don't think that he's a safe pick. I think he's a golden pick to go. The only one who's a one though in the goaltending category is Bernlohr, and I'm not sure how I feel about him going against a Redwoods team that kind of seems like they're figuring it out a little bit. Especially when these two teams hate each other. That'll be a game to fucking watch. Um, where are we going from here? All right, so we went over those 2 games, and then we have the Cannons Chrome. They've only played each other once, and they went to 23. I think their line is 23 and a half. Not really the same team, you know. Malloy 4 points, Heacock 4 points in the game last season. On the other side, Rafus, Lyle 3 points each, Jackson 4 points, Morocco 64%, 10 saves. Don't really see that happening again just because the Chrome are not who the Chrome used to be. And Connor Farrell, Stephen Kelly kind of split, games. One went 58%, the other one went 70%. So, and fairly small sample size in the second one. So I don't really know where to go face-off wise in that. So looking at these, Zed Williams, Tom Schreiber, Graham Hossack, I like him, but we're going to get into the second one with a little bit of inside information. Uh, Trevor Baptiste, Blaze Reardon. Zed, obviously coming back, winning a championship, going up against a team that he has historically owned. I like it. Tom Schreiber, I said before, I like it. Graham Hossack, reigning Defensive Player of the Year, I like it. Trevor Baptiste, how could go wrong, especially against who fucking knows who for the Archers. And Blaze Reardon, just a staple in net. Going on the other side, so let's use our one for Jeff Teat. Jeff Teat, bounce back week, coming up against the Archers. They're really going to need him. Still using the one on Tom Schreiber. That's a lock for me. Jesse Bernhardt. Some people might be like, all right, you're using your 3 as a defenseman. Probably, I don't think I'll ever go back to using anything but a 3 on a defenseman. No offense to Graham Hossack. What I'm looking at here is the Cannons have the most turnovers in the PLL, and the Chrome have the most caused turnovers in the PLL. The Chrome also have the most ground balls in the PLL. So I'm going with Jesse Bernhardt as that defensive guy, banking in that there's going to be a ton of turnovers, ton of ground balls, all open for Jesse Bernhardt to scoop up and to pick off. Face-off wise, so I can't put my one here, so I'm going with Joe Nardella. I'm hoping that he gets, not hoping because I'm a Redwoods fan, but hoping that fantasy-wise he hits like that 60%, gets those 12 ground balls he has previously, and maybe puts in a fucking goal or two. And then sticking with that staple and Blaze Reardon, I really like that there. Now, looking at DraftKings Sportsbook, we're going with the Redwoods Whip Snakes over 22.5. Like I said before, 2 out of 3 times this has gone over, especially with Zed Williams coming back. I think that's a lock. Chaos Water Dogs. I like the Chaos, especially to get the team back. Like I said, if all these guys don't come back, it's going to be a different story. This is why this is the way too early week 4 above spring fantasy and bets. Hypothetical. Cannons Chrome. I really don't even know where to go from here. I don't know who I like more. I guess the Chrome are minus 185 and the Cannons are plus 150, but you just never fucking know, man. Like you still have Lyle Thompson on one side of the field. Um, Stephen Kelly could win up the faceoff X. Connor Farrell could win up the faceoff X. I really don't know. I think that these teams are a lot closer than people are giving them credit for. And then actually, so maybe the Cannons plus 1.5 might be it, but we're gonna hold off on that. And then the Archers Atlas, we're gonna go over even at 25.5. I'm fucking hitting it. I think that it'll go the distance. So this is a if you're gonna parlay these three together, it is almost plus 500. This is my way too early predictions. We're gonna come back with it when I'm in Florida on Thursday. So